What up, everybody? Hey, welcome to your Moving the Military podcast, episode number 4. That means that we're actually consistently doing something.
I know, we've been consistent for 4 weeks in a row. What the heck?
4 weeks in a row, right? So, hey, welcome to welcome to episode number 4, right? I am Matt Grudel. I am your co-host. I'm your co-founder, and as always, I'm the Flavor Flav, the introductory crew of this, and I'm with the one and only, you know her, you love her,
Some people
Dina
love.
Watson, my co-founder and co-host.
What's up, everybody? I
Yeah.
love this.
So Dina, here we are, episode number 4.
Here we found ourselves 4 weeks into consistently doing something.
That's it. Let me put that on my big ass calendar that I've consistently done something, right? So here we are, episode number 4. Over the last 4 weeks, we've actually introduced ourselves. We've spent a lot of time talking about freedom, right? And that the drive for freedom and why we got into real estate. A lot of us did was for freedom to do what we want, when we want, with who we want, where we want, give we want, all those different things. Last week, we dove deep into branding. And so I want to kind of pull this back a little bit, right? People got to know us. And so what the heck are we actually doing here today? What are we doing with moving the military?
Okay, well, this episode is probably just going to be you guys listening to our dialogue around what we are up to. We'll keep most of the details in, leave some of them strategically out just because we need to. But I don't know, Matt. It's you can only coach and teach people to follow their passion for so long until you are forced to listen to your own advice. So, what are we doing here? This is such a I guess I'll ask you. We should have asked this before we hit record. Are we sending it? Are we slightly sending it? Full sending this?
Look at it, man. Here's the deal. Red flag is up at the range. It doesn't matter what service you were in. You're on a range somewhere. Hey, rounds are about to go down range. We have been cleared hot.
We're cleared, but we're hot. So
whether we're cleared or not, we're hot. And so the heck with it. Send rounds down range, recon by fire. Let's rock.
Okay. So here's the reason I asked that, because here's what we're really doing here. About 2 years ago, things started feeling a little out of alignment, a little wobbly for the two of us. And we're not going to share all those details, you guys. We're high road leaders with things. So you will not get the tea in this conversation. So if you came for the tea, you're not going to get it.
Go ahead and put your pinky down. There's no pinky drinking tea on this one.
But a couple years ago, we started to feel a little misaligned, a little wobbly with what was going on and what we were building, and a little stuck in some things. And then we realized that we were kind of just whining, but there was still this, even though we got ourselves over the hump of we're just being little bitches here, things just still didn't feel right. It didn't sit well with us for whatever reason. So without getting into the details of that, we started dreaming up this idea. It was 2 years ago that we came up with what we thought was going to be called the Military Lifestyle Network. Okay, we dreamt up this big idea that we were building the organization we were building in this silo. We were siloed multiple times down into this tiny little box that we were operating in. And we were asked the question, what would it look like to build the largest military-focused organization outside of the military itself? And I think it was military focused and in the most impactful organization, something like that. And what we dreamt up was this idea of Military Lifestyle Network, which, Matt, you can clean this up, but the whole idea of it was that we were going to be with you for the entire life cycle of your time in the service, to include you moving multiple times, to include when you decide to ETS and get out of the military. We were dreaming up this brand that would not only sit in this silo of the real estate side, but also would extend over to the actual service members and their families and bring this one big happy community together. And that had never been done yet. But we also realized, so back to answer the question directly, that the organization we were building and the silo we were living in would not allow that to happen. So unfortunately, for about a year and a half, that idea kind of died off. Like, how else would you say that?
No,
Like,
I think that's exactly it. I mean, when you think about what we were actually doing, when we literally, I mean, I will never forget me and you were on the phone or on a Zoom like this for hours, like literally, like, okay. And I'm like, close your eyes, right? Imagine this. Like, we went through this whole thing, right? Because it was around being a partner, right?
mhm,
How do we partner through the entire life cycle of someone's career with their family, through all their moves, to where we were that one connection the entire time. We were the easy button for everything that happened, for
mhm.
every move, every connection, every partnership. And what we realized is we let it die because, and you know, and I love to say this, I just saw us as thoroughbred horses ready to run the Kentucky Derby in the best shape, looking the best, with the best jockey, and we couldn't get the gate open. Like, the gate wouldn't open for us to sprint, and then it just kind of died out. It's not that it died, it just kind of got
I
pushed.
think cynicism got it killed off.
It did, and it kind of
If
went
we're
to the
just being
waste. Yeah,
honest,
it went to the
yeah.
wayside. And so we decided again, like, hey, we're going to revive this in a
Mhm.
little bit of different way. There's a lot of lessons learned. We went to college for a few years. We got a great education.
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it differently. Hence,
Mhm.
moving the military and what it is and why it is set up the way that it is set up. Because, and I'm going to lead with this and I'm going to steal your thunder for a second. Um, we kind of got tired of our military personnel, our military community, that less than 1% that serves, and the agents that do such a great job serving them. We got tired of them being invisible.
Yeah, we'll get to that towards the end, but the thing that, I guess the thing that we need to start this with is that this has been a vision and a passion project in our minds and our notebooks, and, like, we even went as far as interviewing people we thought could build it with us.
Yep.
And thankfully, at that time, it didn't work out for them, but what we now know is we didn't have the reps under our belt for it to even have worked at that time anyway. So, looking back 2 years ago, if those 2 ladies had come on board with us, which they'll remain nameless, but if they had come on board with us, we weren't the type of leaders and we didn't have the amount of education needed for how to actually run products and courses and things, build what we would have needed to build in order to make this work. And I think we have that now. So things don't work out for a reason and things, get delayed for reasons. And although we felt very caged, to use your language, for the last couple of years, it was there for that time, and that time was not wasted. It was invested and it was there for a reason.
Well,
I
we
also
had information, right? And you and
Yeah.
I said this the other day, right? Information without implementation is self-deception. We had information,
Yeah,
but
we had
we
the
needed to
dream,
be.
we just didn't have the implementation
Yeah,
skills.
we just did not, we didn't have the education around the
Mhm.
actual implementing this at the largest scale possible to actually make it nationwide. We had the information, we knew the problem we were trying to solve, we knew what was out there. We had the, experience as being a veteran service member that's moved a ton of times, that's raised his family that way, that's done that. We had the leadership experience, we
Yeah.
had the real estate experience with you and the team and all. We had all the information,
It's like we had
but
a lot
we
of
were
puzzle
lacking the
pieces.
education around the implementation, which we
Yeah.
have now.
Yeah, we had all the puzzle pieces, we just didn't know how they were
Yeah.
supposed to go together. So, I think that the first thing everybody should know as you listen to this is that this is not an all of a sudden thing. Like they say, sometimes things pop up all of a sudden and you think people are like overnight successes or whatever. In all reality, they've been putting in the reps for years. And so I can confidently say that we've been putting in the reps for years with this idea in the back of our mind, like test betting things that we thought would be part of this. Um, to see in a small control group whether or not it would work. And the thing that I can now confidently say is, like, our vision and our dream for what we wanted the pieces of this to look like do work. And
Absolutely.
now we can throw fire on them and scale them a lot. But um so to say what are we doing here, it's a really weird question because we've been doing it in our head and in our notebooks for years, but now we actually get to put up or shut up and actually build this thing the way we wanted to
But
where
we
there
took
are
the,
no
here's the thing.
silos.
We decided to step out of the shadows. I mean, literally, we decided to step out of the shadows. We've been
Mhm.
thinking, we've been planning, we've been writing it down, we've been doing all the things, and yet we finally said, you know what? Let's
Get in
take a
the
stand.
arena.
Yeah, let's full send. Let's step out the shadows and let's no longer, I'm gonna say it again, let's stop being invisible.
Yeah, and I love the invisible word, and people will know why we're saying invisible by the end of this like chat together. But I think the other thing that is necessary to acknowledge is that there was nothing wrong with what we were doing or where we were. It just wasn't a big enough container.
Yeah.
And so, there that organization is still going and hopefully is going to go really well and all of those things will work out. But the thing that is really important for people who are listening to this to hear from us directly is that there wasn't anything wrong. And we said that, when we stepped out was like, this thing is foundationally as strong as it could be. Like we've done the best we know how. And it's time for someone else to scale that because the vision that we have for scale involves a bigger container.
Yeah.
And we weren't in a space that we felt was limitless because by definition that space was limited by the people who were working in that environment. So what we had a dream for and what we have a dream for is something that like spans past brokerage lines. Like we truly want an unbridled, to use the racehorse language, we want an unbridled opportunity to go into partnership and business with real estate agents to solve a specific problem, regardless of what brokerage they feel comfortable working in. And that just was not something that we could have done previously. And so we took a fucking huge risk, Matt. Like we we stepped out of the shadows, man, but I'll tell you, like, it wasn't easy, and it was something we thought about and fought with for about a year and a half.
But we stepped out the shadows, and what we didn't know there was a cliff on the other
Yeah,
side once we stepped out, right?
we're like, "Let's go!" And
Let's
then we just
go. Woo!
aw. Everything's fine, you guys. We've been out of the shadows for a month, and it's been the best month. Truly, it's been, like, such a cool experience, but it is this whole idea of, like, can you step out in blind faith and trust yourself enough to know that even if you fall off the cliff, everything is figure outable, and I think that we do. Like, we trust ourselves enough to know we'll figure it out.
Well, and here's the thing, and some of you listening right now, you're thinking like, "Well, how does this apply to me?" Well, you did it, especially if you were somebody serving. Like there was the GS job, the clock in, clock out jobs. There was all those jobs, and you said, "You know what? I'm going to step out of the shadows, and I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to 100% bet on myself, bet on my vision, bet on my competence and skills, bet right to earn the right for freedom, and I'm going to go." To a compensation based
Commission based, yeah.
career to where no matter what on the 1st and 15th, I may not get paid. Right. And so
Yeah.
you already stepped out of the shadows, everyone listening to this, and took a risk on yourself. And we're here to help you since you took that risk, really become visible and grow and achieve freedom.
Yeah, and I think Matt, this is just me calling it audible. I would prefer if this podcast stayed about us and what we're doing, not about what we can do for them. And I think if someone's listening to this and they have had a few moments of exposure to us, they might know that there's a reason we're sharing this. But
Yeah.
for the rest of this podcast, you guys, we're not going to talk about how we can help you, or we're not going to talk about what this is in a way that it helps you. I think we just wanted to have a moment to share what are we up to, why did we leave where we left, and why are we doing what we're doing going forward. And so stick around for the next 30 minutes if you want to know those things. And I think by the end of the podcast, you hearing what we're building, you'll know if it's for you or not. You'll know if you will find your group of people here or not. But let's just chat about us.
Well, let's do it. So let's talk about moving the military, right?
Well, actually, I want to spin this on you because I'm the one that's answered. So for you, we're two separate humans, although we're in
Yeah.
business together. So I jumped and knew I was jumping, and then you got to the place where you knew you were jumping and taking the leap of faith. So what was it for you that made you say, "All right, fuck it, I'm going off this cliff myself"?
Um, it goes back to something I've always said, and you hear me say it all the time. O is for options, right? O is for options. O is for opportunity. And I saw an opportunity, right? I felt the opportunity. I saw that there was an option out there. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I decided that this was my chance at the ripe young age of 51 years old, doing all the things I've done right in my life, that, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to seize an opportunity that is going to absolutely, things have got to fill my gas tank, my give a shit tank, and you know that about me.
Mhm.
And I do everything in my life, right? The reason I don't have burnout is because I do enough of the things I love and I fill my gas tank. I decided I was going to seize an opportunity for myself to put premium gas in my gas tank, not just unleaded, not just mid-grade. When I go from, I love to say it, caged, comfortable, in between comfortable and charged is that mid-grade. I decided I was going to seek an opportunity and seize it that was going to put pure 91 octane in my charged gas tank. And I will tell you, the last 30 days, there has been 2 or 3 lows. But outside of that, man, it has been full-blown ascension, full-blown next level, full-blown charge, pedal to the metal, full
Yeah.
send. And I have felt more alive in my purpose over the last 30 days than I have in a long time. And that's because I decided to seize an opportunity, an option, and create and build something that I actually am passionate about, more than passionate about.
Well, I think also, like you said, there have been a few setbacks and we're not going to talk about them, but there were a couple right out the gate. It's like what was the example we used? It's like, okay, we left the house and we knew there was like this mansion thing, this vision and dream we were running towards, and we crested the hill. Remember this example?
Yeah.
I was like, the sun is shining. And this is what it felt like. It was like, the sun is shining and we're frolicking and running in slow motion through the tulips and we're smiling and the sun's on our face. And we come over the hill, the first one, and it was like, pa, 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 pa.
Yeah.
Like,
Straight bull. That's what we said. It was like, here's the example I gave. I said, we were like, this is my example. I said, man, we were like in that old movie, showing my age again, The
yeah.
Sound of Music.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
up there dancing, birds are chirping, we're singing, and all of a sudden we got stray bullets coming everywhere, man. Stray artillery rounds, stray rounds, and we're ducking and dodging. Like,
If you
and
can
then we got
dodge
up
and you
and we
can dodge
started,
a ball.
yeah, we started, and then the birds came out again, and the sun was out, and we're holding hands, and then we got straight shot again, right? So we were ducking and dodging stray bullets. We had a few of those. Outside of that,
Yeah,
there's
outside of
been a
that,
lot
it's
of
been great.
sunshine, a lot of great grass, a lot of sound of music.
Yeah, that's so funny. You guys, I hope you can feel our passion for this because it's just there's nothing you're gonna do that you bet on yourself where there's no risk and there's no speed bumps. And so the question is, can you emotionally handle the speed bumps? Because the bullets were a little emotional, although some of it not emotional. But anyway, the point of it was that, like, over the last 30 days, I think what's kind of lit both of us up is because, you said this months ago, you want control of your life back.
Mhm.
Like, you want to be in the driver's seat of your life again. And anything lower or less than betting on yourself and being in control of it yourself, you actually aren't in the driver's seat and you're not in control. So I think this
Well,
was
and I
like,
think the other thing too, and I'll jump in, Dean. I think the other thing too, the way I love to talk about high performance.
mhm,
One of the things that's the hardest thing when you take back over the driver's seat, right? You take back control. It is the defaulting to the habit of hitting not autopilot, but cruise control, right? And so I think for the last 30 days, there has been no cruise control, right? I am no longer in my 2025 Ram Rebel. I'm back in my 1971, my very first car, 1971 four-door Chevy Impala with a 350 in it, manual, no
no
cruise
power
control.
steering and you're
Yeah,
having to like
right.
crank that
I'm
thing.
back in there. And so I'm forced to be driving again in complete control, which is exactly what I wanted
Yeah.
to. So I just cannot default back to cruise control.
Yeah. And I don't think any of this comes without risk. So just, our little caution flag on this conversation. If you're not in a place where you can take the blows and handle the risk, you might want to chill until you are. But you know, we we weren't in a place to take the blows and handle the risk a couple years ago when we had this idea, but as we've continued to keep the vision in the front and work our way through these things, we realize that now is the time, and if we don't jump off this cliff, we're never going to. And so at a certain point, you just have to jump.
Well, and the other thing too is, you talked about it 2 years ago, we weren't in a place.
Mhm.
Months ago, we were not 100% in the right place either. We
No.
were farther along. We actually had the information, we had the education, we had the implementation, and yet we still had to bet on ourselves. And I remember us asking ourselves this, hey, if not now, when? Like literally, if
Mhm.
not now, when?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a little bit of the backstory. So let's talk about going forward. So the idea of moving the military, you all now know where it came from. I think you probably also can pick up the idea that it's not just for real estate agents, but for now, let's stay on the real estate agent side of the house, Matt, and we'll talk about the consumer side and how we're going to bring it together in a little bit later. But, the other thing too that I think is important to mention is that through all the lessons we've learned in the last few years, we realized that before we could really share or showcase this idea, we had to protect the idea and the IP, the intellectual property of this idea, because we've had some stuff go on in the past where that kind of bit us. So our first step was, okay, is this the thing? Like, is this it? Is this the what it? And also, for full transparency, we're at a brokerage where there is the opportunity to build an organization and all these other things, which we'll get to later. But then the question was even like, okay, is this the name of the organization we're building? Is this the name of a product? Is this the name of just the
Well,
podcast?
we
So
we
like,
created, like, all these different layers, and we had all
we
these
made it
different
so
things.
complicated.
Yeah, we had, like, this org chart of this is who we are, and this is what this is, and this is what this is, and then at the point, we're like and you know me, I got a Yoda everything, right? So I'm like, "I need a slogan, I need an acronym," and then at that point, I was so alphabetically confused of what we were doing, we just said, "Hey, this is the purpose, this is what it is,
Yep.
this
One
is how
mission,
we
one
can
focus.
affect the most lives," yeah, and ourselves, right? And so that's why we decided that, hey, now's the time.
Yep.
Let's trademark moving the military.
Yeah, so everything kind of because at first we were like, well, this is the external brand, but the internal brand will be this thing. And we were like so graciously reminded by the partners we're in business with now that like we're going to have a tendency to overcomplicate things and over explain things because of how we've been conditioned. But it doesn't have to be that difficult. We can truly just show up and be one thing all the time because for
Mhm.
the last, 10 years for me, I've had and it's been so hard because I think a lot in buckets. So I have in my mind these little compartments. And so for the last 10 years, I've had Dina, the team leader, not like office team leader, but Dina, the team leader, rainmaker, like the person who owns the team. And then I've had Dina, the coach who coaches for this organization. And then I've had Dina, the leader who leads this community. And I've had Dina, the productivity coach of this office. And it's just like, I've had all these buckets. So, what happened when we stepped out and said, we're going to build this thing is we automatically went back to like bucket here, bucket here, bucket here, bucket here. And then our, you know, lovely humans that we're in business with now, they're like, please stop doing this
They
because
said,
you're
"Look,
overcomplicating this whole thing.
you decided to walk away from the buckets. You said, "Hey, I'm no longer gonna cage
They're
myself in a
like, get me
bucket."
out of
And
here.
here you are 4 days later recaging yourself back
Yeah.
into 20 buckets, and then we
What was
said,
it
"That's
you
it."
said when I called you that time? I was like, I don't remember what I said, but you're
Oh,
like,
man,
"I need to tell
you were in the feels, you were in the mood, and it was like and I was like, "Well, stop walking us back into a bucket then, or into a
our
cage."
cage."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dina, stop walking it. You're like, "Okay, I got it."
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. It's why it's important to be in business with people who will actually call you on your shit when
Yeah.
you don't realize you have shit to be called on. But so kind of as we're going back to what are we doing now? We're building everything through one lane, one mission, one focus, one brand. Now we have different ways to be in relationship with us? Of course we do. Like
Well, you have to.
you have to. Yeah, of course we do. But no matter what, all of everything that we are doing at this point is through the lens of moving the military as a brand, moving the military as a mission, moving the military as a focus. Like that is who you will see us become over the next coming months is like we are the co-founders and the owners of it's right now it's a brand but will be I think a massive company in the future. And yeah, like we'll talk a little bit about what are the ways that we are intending to be in business with all of you or in relationship with all of you. Um, but for now, it's moving the military. So Matt, I guess let's open up the give back portion, the true servant hearts portion of what we're doing. We do have this idea for this totally free side of this where there are a few things that people can see and hear and learn from us without having to do anything. This podcast is obviously one of those, but what are the other things that you're excited about that we're kind of building into that true philanthropy thing?
Well, man, I'm super excited about one the podcast, right? Just us being open and people really understanding who we are, and being authentic, right? I'm excited for that. I'm excited for interviews.
Hmm.
right? We have some mega people that are, some people that are going to blow people away coming on for interviews. And what I love about that is they're going to share some of the things that they're actually doing, right? It goes back to the same thing we said, information without implementation is self-deception, right? So they're going to share some of those things. I'm just super excited to be able to give back so that the people that are in our space actually can provide that less than 1% that chooses to serve or has served a different level. Because I just keep going back to and a quick story, I'll go back to the very first home I bought, right? Very first home I bought, I won't mention the bank, but it was here in the USA, right? First time home buyer program. And
Yay! No.
yay, and I knew nothing, right? I did the documents in like a 48-hour period of time. I got on a plane, and literally my family is in Barstow, California at the National Training Center. I'm covering down on a unit that's going to deploy in 60 days, right, to OIF1. So I do this stuff. I fly out this location, the real estate agent, I meet them, right? Jump in their car, back in the day, and she shows me two homes. And it's like, hey, these are the two homes you have to choose from. I'm like, oh, cool. I got options. That I get two homes. Like there was no needs, no wants, like none of
That's
that.
funny.
And I was like, cool. I got to buy a home because I'm, my family's coming. Like the moving truck's already there. Like let's do this. I'm deploying in 60 days. Um, and it was just an absolute horrible experience because I didn't know anything about rental return on investment, property management. Then I got stuck in this home because I got sent somewhere else, and then it was just my father-in-law. I mean, it was just an absolute disaster. And so our job and our passion is educating everyone so that less than 1% is not served like that. And I'm saying that, and every one of you listening has a story like that. And it's probably one of the reasons you got in to real estate is so somebody else wouldn't be affected the way you are. So I'm excited about removing that stigma, removing that
Mhm.
for future generations that are going to be buying, selling, and investing in real estate.
Yeah, and I think too, so we always, anyone who sets out to solve a problem pretty much always goes out to solve a problem they wish they had a solution for when they were
Yeah.
building their business. And so if we're just staying on the agent side of this and not the consumer side for a minute, the thing that I am most excited about, even for the like truly free, no requirement to sign up for anything
Nope.
side,
Just
what we're doing.
jump on the school platform, look at the
Yeah,
calendar, get the free
yeah,
education. That's going to be there.
yeah, we'll share how to find all this later, but there's like a truly free, no catch side of what we're doing. And the thing I love about that is because when I was building my real estate sales team, I was like mid 20s, I guess, all the way until I think I was 33 when I sold it, 34 maybe. Anyway, um, there was so much guidance and education for the general like real estate public. But there was no one that I saw that looked like me, that felt like me, that was military like we were, talking about how do you form this cool generalist information into having a very niche or niche specific business. Because I had, even at some point, my coach at the time came to me and said, the market is shifting. You're going to have to stop working with so many military people because they won't be able to afford houses in 24 months. And I just couldn't wrap my head around that, man. Like I couldn't accept it. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Hearing that the spouse side of the house was 25% unemployed was just like unfathomable to me. And so the thing I'm most excited about, so I don't go on a tangent here, is being the person that the 10 years ago version of me has to look towards for information.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. Like you came out of the service, you decided that you were going to you were going to get into real estate, never sold a house, but led one of the largest offices in the, southwestern Texas area. And I'm excited for that service member who like has a skill set that is undervalued to see you and what you've done and be like, those two people, I can follow that message. Even if, not from an egotistical standpoint, we don't care if you follow us, but I just want to be a voice for people who are where I was a decade ago, who could look towards what we're doing and the people we're going to be interviewing and showcasing and say, I can see myself in this person and I can see my business being built like theirs. And so, because like I said, in every other area of real estate specialty, there's the luxury person, there's the commercial person, there's the land person. Military is the new kid on the block, but military businesses are built differently. So I'm
Well, they
excited
are.
that we can provide that space for people.
Well, and they are, and absolutely, and I think that there's this saying, me and you say it all the time, and I'll probably mess it up. You'll have to clean it up like you do most of the things I say. But right, you're best served to help the person you or serve the person you once were, right? And we are that, right? You are that, man. You were that, and I'm going to say it again because I know we're going to get to it, right? But you are that agent in the military niche that was invisible because everything else was commercial luxury,
Yeah.
for all the different things, and yet that military, right? That military agent in the military niche, they're invisible, right? So how do we help bring light to that? And the second thing is, so they have that with you, and then for me, it's like, okay, well, how do I take the skills that I had in the service through all those years and not pigeonhole myself into another clock in, clock out job? Because civilian organizations and the consumer, especially the military consumer, they want to, you have course action analysis, you have all these different things
Mhm.
that you can actually impart on them to educate them at the highest level, provide clarity,
Yeah.
and get them to move forward the things that are best for them. And I think that we are those people that have been there, that have experienced that, are now like, hey, cool. We could keep going on our own and doing our own thing and leaning in, but we said, you know what? We want to stop and we want to provide people with the things that we didn't have because we are best suited to serve the person we once were. Let's serve them.
Well, and also, and this is not a dig, although it's going to kind of sound like one. I also am super excited to be the steady and the constant for someone no matter where they go.
Yeah.
Because in real estate, there's this idea. This is the part that's not a dig, but someone's going to think it is and clip this and get, whatever. Have fun, clip away. But there's this idea that if I don't go to this brokerage or if I'm in this brokerage and I leave, I have to leave my support system, my education, my access, my information there. And so I see people get stuck truly, like staying places they don't want to stay because they don't want to leave the education that they had. They don't want to leave the camaraderie that they had. They don't want to leave their people. And we saw it happen for years where people loved what we were doing, but because of how it was happening and how we were having to work, when they left the brokerage, they had to leave us. Like, it just was a non-negotiable. We could not help them.
Yeah.
And that just stopped sitting well with me. And so the other thing that I am really, really thrilled is because, and I will say this, and it is not a humble brag, it is like an egotistical brag. We are really, really good at connecting people and really good at helping people build relationships with each other. And I am so fucking pumped to be able to do that for a group of people that they can keep no matter where they decide to call home brokerage wise.
Yeah.
Like, that is
Yeah.
what I'm most excited about on this
Yeah.
upcoming
It
journey.
and when you say it that way, like, literally, there's nothing more empowering, nothing that fills the gas tank, the life better than literally being a constant, a positive constant in somebody's life and business as they grow, as they stumble, as they pick themselves back up. And I love the way you say that because when you really peel it back, we get, right?
Mhm.
We don't have to,
Yeah, we
right?
get
We don't need to, we want to, but we get to be the constant in people's lives and business, and that's powerful.
yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's gonna be the best part of what we do in the future, right?
Yeah.
Um, so the other side of this too, so we've got this whole free aspect of things. Just so you guys know, if you want to write it down, we have movingthemilitary.com. Literally every resource we have is going to be there. Every podcast will get uploaded there. The link to everything we do will be there. If you're a real estate agent at any brokerage in the United States of America, you can go to movingthemilitary.com. You can click on the For Agents or Agent Resources tab at the top, and it'll take you to the link for the platform where we put all of this. There's also a totally free, as of last night, Facebook page that I've created, a Facebook group just called Moving the Military. I don't know, hell, Matt, what's it called? Moving the Military Agent something network?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Relocation. Yeah.
There you go, whatever. Relocation experts. That's what it was. Military relocation experts. That's all free. Everything on there that you'll see is, everybody hanging out with each other. And then the other side of it too is on the Moving the Military website, there's resources for agents if you want to download some things or templates to some stuff. You can rip off and duplicate as long as you don't, the name is trademarked, but any of the concepts of what we're doing, we're happy to help you with that. But yeah, if you're an agent that wants to plug in, but you're not as capital rich as you once were, that's cool. There's plenty of stuff there for you. And we have masterminds every month and, you know, you can listen to the podcast,
There's a
and
lot of VA
there's a lot
education
of
free. I mean, there's a lot of free VA education on there, all the different things.
yeah, and some of the stuff we're not running, but we're sharing a partner of ours calendar with you. So there's a really amazing lady. Her name's Chelsea Vandersnick. She's at Mutual of Omaha Mortgage, and over the last couple of years, she has very well earned her way into our world. We are very strict on who we allow in front of our people because we want to protect
Well,
people.
our vetting process is people like some
Yeah,
people just quit in the
they
vetting
quit.
process.
They quit. She didn't, and we love her, and she has been allowed to put her classes and things like that on our calendar. So if you're looking for a VA education, if you're looking for like what does the home loan look like, Chelsea's got all that covered, and it's all
I
on
think
our
there's even some free certifications on there.
yeah. And there's all kinds of free stuff. So let's move on to like the vision that we have, though. I want to spend the rest of this call talking about there is this, we're not going to be shy about it and we're not going to lie about it. There is also this like really strong desire that Matt and I have to just fucking dominate and like lock arms with really high level operators and spread this brand and this mission around the country at every base. So, Matt, do you want to share like our vision for the join us side?
Yeah, so our vision for the join us side is it's really simple. We're we're looking for people that are like-minded, like us, that want to get in the weeds and just absolutely grow. Our vision is to have at every military installation within 30 miles to have somebody representing moving the military, building and growing and bringing people into the ecosphere, and then literally helping their clients grow and putting the information out there. So
Mhm.
in all reality, not only do we have the most educated, the best, most well-rounded, visible agents, the consumers in that area are probably some of the best
Yeah.
consumers, right? Because they have complete clarity on the home buying process and the VA and what it looked like. And we're creating wealth opportunities. So our vision is in every city within 30 miles of a military installation to have a general, a builder there with us, locked arms in
Yeah.
partnership, just growing themselves and growing the consumer in that area.
Yeah, and like I said, we're not going to be shy about this. For the first 30 days, we've been a little shy about what we want just to make sure that we're protected, of course. But I think that the thing that is really important to us is that people know that we're not just here to give out free information to random humans. Like our give a shit tank is full when we can watch somebody who is true, like when Matt says a general, like is a true operator, high level, high potential, high caliber human being that is just not there yet in their mind, give them back their belief in themselves and say, you can do this. Let's go build this. And we're going to do it with you. So, we are at just, we'll leave it unnamed for the sake of the podcast, but we are at a brokerage where we can do that. And, we can help them, and them being helped helps us. And, we can help them build not only their real estate business, but we can help them build their business towards freedom and getting out of having to sell real estate all the time if they want to.
Yeah, if they want to.
If they want to, they don't have to. I think that, I think that places like where we are and some others have gotten a bad rap because there's this idea that this is where we're going to full send this shit right down range, Matt. But there's this idea that everyone has to want what I want. Everyone has to want to build an organization and recruit people. And that is not what we're here for.
Well, that goes back to
Oh,
something we say all the time, right? A lot of the things that me and you
yeah.
coach, all the individuals we're privileged to coach. Like, hey, you get
You
to
can
create
choose.
your where we're aligned at right now. You get to create your blueprint for success. You
Mhm.
get to create your blueprint for freedom. Hey, we're here to be your guides as you create your blueprint. Because before this podcast, me and you were on the phone, like we always are, earlier. Because I'm in Colorado and you're currently, in Clarksville
Frozen.
outside of Nashville, right?
Yeah.
And so we were on the phone and we talked about, we spent a few minutes talking about legacy. And I think this is kind of important. Our
Mm.
legacy will be moving the military as the biggest brand business for all military consumers and agents. But more importantly, our legacy is about the individuals that
Yeah.
are partnered with us. There's nothing we take more pride in than transforming the people that are with us, that are on this journey, and reaching their goals and building their blueprint for success. So
Yeah.
The reason we're looking for these people and the reason we're so passionate is we want to create a legacy of individuals that have transformed, that have reached freedom, that have built their blueprint, that have ascended the way they want to.
Well, because more importantly, I think, and you're correct. I mean, and this is partially selfish. Like Matt and I love doing this. Like we love challenging people, going toe to toe with you, fighting for you, not for your limitations, but for the power that you don't realize you have. And so it serves both parts, I think. It's like I really absolutely love seeing potential in someone that doesn't see it in themselves and forcing them to dig in and find it and pull that back up and, like, seeing them sit up taller and get their power back. I just think it's freaking cool, man. And, I mean, how blessed are we to get to do that every day? I just that's just it's just such a
It's
cool
humbling.
thing.
I mean, it's humbling. People ask all the time,
Yeah.
why do I keep doing what I'm doing? Because I get humbled every single day at the
Mhm.
opportunities and the lives that we get to change and to transform and the message we get to put out. And, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday that spurred the legacy. And I was like, man, the legacy is you. You
Mm.
are the legacy. If you follow behind me, everybody sees it, right? Monkeys in a barrel. Are you reaching down to pull that next person up?
Well, and that's where I was going with that is I think the coolest part is this is also selfish for us because we get to watch that happen and being a part of that's important for both of us. But the other thing that will happen inevitably is everyone who joins these people's teams or their organizations or the clients in the communities are going to get elevated as a result. And so if we sit there and think about like the butterfly effect of all of this is like we want to look for high caliber, high capacity people because we know that highly influential high caliber operators who want to build something massive are going to impact thousands of people in each of these little communities that we place someone in or that we partner with someone in. And it's the ripple effect of all of it that kind of is like a little too much to think about is yeah, not only are we helping that person who is going to lock arms with us and we're going to help them build their businesses, but it's also gonna help the people that the teams that they build, the people who they hire that wouldn't have otherwise had a job, the families that they work with or the soldiers they work with buying their first homes, the kids of those people who now see their parents living and owning something and being proud of that. Like, this thing goes on forever, but the
Well, it goes
side of
back to
it
no, go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna say, like, the side of it that we haven't yet been very vocal about that is the most exciting part to us is because of where we currently are positioned in terms of the brokerage that we're at, there's no boundary. There's no geographic boundary. There's no local boundary. There's not all these layers of complexity that we have to work through. Like, it truly can be as simple as there are 56 or however many major military installations, and we want 56 high caliber people. We don't care where you are, but if you're willing to join forces with us, we want to, and we want to show you how you can do this in your own city and become prominent and become really freaking wealthy and influential at the same time. Because I think that being wealthy in life is great, but if you are not wealthy also financially, it only goes so far. And we want to make sure that people are all of those things, that they're unlocked, unleashed, aligned, ascending, and super freaking rich, rich in relationships, rich in connection, and rich in actual dollars. Like it
Well, yeah,
matters.
I mean, we want them to live intentionally, right? We want
Yeah.
them to create freedom. It goes back to, you know, I think me and you talked last month. There's a young soldier, right? Not young anymore, but I retired in 2015, and I'm gonna go up to Denver because he's gonna get promoted to sergeant major, right? And he was one of my and like to be able to be experience that somebody that you led that's now at that level, right? That still communicates with you, man. What does it look like for that military real estate agent
Mhm.
to come out of the shadows and 10 years, 15 years from now, that young soldier, airman, marine service, whatever they are,
Yeah.
is now on the path of multiple rentals, right? On the path of, having assets and wealth later on in life. That's what it's about. That's the passion behind moving the military is literally selfishly watching other people grow and being a part of that transformation, that life, that freedom. And we get to do it now
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, I think that's cool is if we move real quick, because I know that we're going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes, but if we move to the consumer side, the thing and there's one more thing on the agent side we're working on, but we don't have that nailed enough to like announce it on the podcast. But on the consumer side of things, the thing I'm most excited about is having predictable messaging around what the hell the VA loan is, what
Yeah.
their benefits are. How do you actually go from being a private or, E1 to a net worth millionaire by the time you retire? Like, there are so many agents we've met around the country that have such great ideas. But the only people who get to hear about those ideas are the 10 or 15 people a year that work just with that agent. There's not nationwide visibility on something. There's not one message across all
Yeah,
states.
there's not we're not one team, one fight with one standard,
Yeah.
one message, one vision. We have pockets of all these different things, and the
Mhm.
impact can only be in that small area versus as wide as it actually needs to be.
Yeah, and I think that that's on the consumer side of things, like, having real, like, honest, clear, factual information for these people who are moving and vulnerable already is just so exciting to me because I cannot tell you, and we're not gonna talk about this, it will make me pissed, how many influencers on the internet I watch spout just complete and utter, I'm gonna use yesterday's, Matt, dog shit,
Dog
like,
shit.
on
15.
15 times someone yesterday said dog shit to us on a call. But anyway, like, just watching the amount of BS get spewed on the internet for half truths or lies or
Well,
manipulation by
they
course.
parrot, yeah, I love to say they
So
parrot the masses, right?
I love it.
Yeah, it goes back to they parrot the doom and gloom of the masses, or they just parrot the masses of the message, right? And it's not specific
But
enough
there's
to
no depth to it either. Like,
yeah,
they don't know why they're saying what they're
mm,
saying, and they can't get past the first question,
yeah.
and I feel like these agents are so well intended, but Matt probably wouldn't agree. I'm the sunny side up of people, and Matt's the nah, man. So I think that sometimes people are well intended, but they're trying to sell a course or they're trying to fill a mastermind or they're trying to do something that financially benefits off of the veteran or the service member's family. And it's
Mhm.
just like, I understand that if you were selling a $10 product, but you're tricking people into buying homes for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that we're going to provide one place for that information where if I am a service member and I want to know exactly what I should do before even calling a realtor, that going to movingthemilitary.com and clicking, service member resources at the top. There is a boot camp, a 4-part boot camp where people can actually go through that process and learn what they need to know in order to do that.
Well,
Like, and it's free. Like, that's
well,
exciting to me.
and here's the most important thing. Why did we decide, and we decided for many reasons, but one of the reasons I was super passionate about, hey, having a consumer side is because of this. The more we actually educate the consumer
Mhm.
around the entire process, here's what happens. The agents benefit. Why? Because the
Mhm.
consumer makes faster decisions, right?
Yeah.
They come able, they come willing, they come ready. And so you as the agent now have got a consumer that's clear, that has consistency, that knows what they want, they will be able to make a decision faster, which moves the needle in your business, right? Which moves the needle in all those different things. So an educated consumer actually benefits the agent.
Well, I think they benefit the agent, but if we're staying on what's the benefit for the consumer, they actually can get raw, real information from somebody before having to ask for an agent. And not to like out all of you agents that are half assed, but we're actually empowering these people with
Yeah.
questions they should ask you and
Yeah.
things that they should look for in your profiles. Like,
Yeah. So you don't show up to Hinesville, Georgia, and get two options to look at homes and have no
yeah,
questions to ask and be like, cool, these homes I
like,
is
we have a vested interest here in
yeah,
protecting the service members buying homes
yes.
before our vested interest in helping you sell it to them because,
Yep.
yes, you're right. Like, the benefit is that the agent gets a better consumer, but the other benefit is that the consumer now can sniff out a crappy agent and knows, like, wait, why did they not ask me about this? Or I was told this wasn't real or whatever. They are more informed. And I think that informed people are more powerful, not only in the ability for them to guide themselves the right way, but also to push you to be better. Like, I think that more powerful, experienced consumers force the
Yeah, it's
agents to
only gonna
level
level
up.
up the agent. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna
they have
level
to.
up the agent. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to push the consumer to push you because I think that that helps. So I don't know. I'll give you this statement here, like, as we get ready to close this out. So, our goal at moving the military on the agent side specifically is to give you guys back a clear identity, a unified mission, and constant leadership, right? Like, just to like simplify that. Our goal is those three things. We want you to have a stronger, more clear identity so you're no longer invisible in the marketplace. We want to be the constants for you as leaders you can look to who've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and we're turning around to lift you up, right? And we want to have more powerful agents serving more powerful, informed consumers. I mean, we don't have to make it more difficult than that. There are various ways that you can enter into our ecosystem to help with that, depending on what you need. And that's kind of the other piece of it is you may not want to be one of the 50 people that builds a massive brand, a massive business in the military brand. And that's okay. We're still
Yeah.
here for you.
Yeah,
Like, that's cool.
that's the thing too. Like, and I love this because, like I said, O is for options, and
Mhm.
we have created options to meet you where you're at
Yeah.
to once again help you create your blueprint for success and freedom. Right? It's not one or the other. There's options.
Well, I think we've been living in a lot of these options, but they just weren't ours and we weren't the author of them. So, like, previously, could we have actually locked arms with anyone and helped build their teams? Sure, if we charged them a lot of money for that. If they hired us, which you're still able to do if you
Mhm.
want to, I mean, we still coach for a fee and all of that. But the cool thing is, which is just another option. Let's say you don't want to join our brokerage and you don't want to be one of our generals, but you still want to do something similar in your own town in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. You can hire us and we can help you with that too. So it's like, I just feel like we are opening up the ability for us to impact more people by going with what we've done and building what we're building. So I don't know. We've rambled on, Matt,
Well,
for
that's what we're not done yet because you talked about the goal for the agent. What about the goal for the consumer?
I mean, I think I talked about that too. Like, our goal for the consumer is to give you more of your own power back so that when
Yeah.
you're moving around the country and talking to people who've been in real estate for 5 minutes, you can sniff it out because there's nothing more damaging financially than what you went through, Matt. Like, to a service member who barely make ends meet, I mean, one bad financial real estate related decision can cause you to have to go bankrupt, which can cause you to lose your security clearance and your job and your career and your pension. I mean, like, I think the stakes are higher here. So we want to give power back to the consumer. It's kind of like we want to be the car lot on Sunday where no one's bothering you, where you can quietly look at the cars and see what you want and scan the tags and like. So, how, is that a good way to put this? We
I
want to
think
be the car lot on
yeah,
Sunday.
we want to be the car lot on Sunday, but here's the other thing. We want to make sure that when you decide to go back on Monday, you show up and you sit down and you're like, hey, here's what I know it's
I've been
worth.
shopping
Here's
over
what
the
I'm going to
weekend.
pay. This is what I'm willing to pay. This is tax title out the door. Here is my certified check from my bank ready to go. And here's the deal. When you take my keys to go get me the trade in, you got about 10 minutes. Don't hold them back there. Bring them back to me.
Yeah.
That's what
You're
we're
like, I
looking
know
for.
why you're going back to your finance manager. You're trying to stall me out. I've
Yeah.
got the next 2 days I've taken off work. I can sit right here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, that's the best example. What do we want to be for the consumer? We want to be the car lot on Sunday.
Yeah.
We want to be the place that you can come quietly peruse around all of our free content. And then you can go back to whoever you choose, or
Yeah.
you can, we've already told you we have high standards. So the other thing we're doing on the consumer side, which starts in about 8 minutes, and I'm excited to get this started, is we have a nationwide network of real estate professionals that we know or that have been recommended to us.
I mean, we
That
got
are,
literally, I know you said 8 minutes, but I think we got like 5, 6 people lined up. We're going to go back to back to back to
we
back to back.
do. We do. So we're conducting interviews and we're vetting people in every major city and every military installation in this country because we are also creating a vetted, profiled, pre-approved, like we're giving the stamp of approval on these people because we're researching them and their business. And so if you're a consumer and you go click on find an agent, there's a form you can fill out and we will meet you with 2 to 3 approved and stamped and ready to go agents that we would highly recommend you speak to. So, the one word answer for what we're trying to give to consumers is power. We're
That's it.
trying to empower our service members to make better real estate related decisions and to partner with the people who will help them with that. So, car lot on Sunday.
Yeah, agents, we're gonna provide visibility, right, and all the things that you're
Mhm.
doing. And I love that car lot on Sunday. We're gonna
Yeah.
power up. We're gonna empower the consumer once
Yep.
again, which, like I said, benefits the agent. So, hey, that is moving the military episode number 4. Just a little bit about our vision, our mission,
Little
what
bit.
we're actually doing here. And here's the other thing: the options that we're actually providing. So, hey, we will
Mhm.
see you again next week.
At
You
number
all have
4.
a good one.
See you, everybody.